Products themselves, obviously, you're available online and about to, was it called COVID Secure?
COVID Secure. MHFA England have literally this month said that as long as there is a COVID Secure risk assessment and proper precautions are taken to allow people to meet, in a room safely. So, for example, a prime example would be if you're an employer in a school. You've got a big school hall or maybe a big staff canteen where everyone can be sort of properly spaced out and socially distanced. We can now do the courses face to face. But I have to say, I mean, I was dubious, but I love the online course. It's a great, I've delivered 3 now, fantastic reviews from them. And I was worried as an instructor that I wouldn't be able to offer that one-to-one and that support for people that I'm used to doing. But actually it works really well.
And now you have a new tool, because you always did it face to face, and now you have it online. You have 2 tools, so that's great. It's great.
And in some respects it's been lovely because you've had people sort of from much further geographical areas. So you've been able to get different stories and different takes on things, because I could sit there and rattle on forever about my knowledge about mental health that I've garnered from doing all these courses, and I still, come back to the fact I'm a mental health first aid instructor. I'm not a counsellor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not pretending to be. But the best thing is when you do a course and other people share their stories, because that's when you know it's a good course. Because A, you've made it safe for them to do so, and B, they start gelling and they form their own little network and their own little group, and you know how important that is.
Definitely.
So. Yeah, it's fantastic.
And also, not being funny, but it's greener. So you're traveling all over, but it's good. It's good. I'm glad you have that tool, and it's but for some people, because we are talking about mental things here, personality-wise, some people just prefer face-to-face, simple as that, or can retain it better as well, because you're also talking about a teaching environment.
But that's one of the great things. I mean, if you look, this is the mummy of the. So everybody gets a manual, regardless of what course they do, they get a manual. But this is the 2-day manual or the online course manual. And you'll see it. I mean, it's like, 300 odd pages, I think. Nearly 300 pages. It's huge. And it gets broken down into all the sections, including really usefully a whole section at the back that's all helpful resources of, charities and stuff that you can turn to. These obviously being the national ones.
Yeah.
But it'll have a whole section on first aid for anxiety disorders, what is an anxiety disorder, etc. And I always say to people, I mean, you can see mine's all dog-eared and tattered and got tabs in it and everything. Because even though I've been doing this for a while now, if you came to me and say, Corinne, I think I might be struggling with depression, I'm not sure, and I'm I've got this and this going on.
Yep.
I'll go, do you know what? Why don't we dig out the manual? Why don't we have a look and see what that says? Because then we're working through it together. I'm not taking control away from you, but I'm also making sure that what I give you is really factual. It's that information, not advice again. And we can go through it together. And you still retain ownership. So nobody's expected to come on the course and remember everything that's in a manual this big.
And I know you'd say the same thing. So then the manager in the business that's done that, they have this resource to go back on and study and bring back out.
Your manuals want to look like mine. They want to look a bit dog-eared and well loved, because it means they're being used. Well, you don't want it tucked away in a drawer, looking absolutely pristine.
I disagree. I'd want it pristine, never been open, because no one has a problem. What's the chances of that?
That's not going to be realistic. And then the other one as well is that everybody who does the course, regardless of what level of course they do, has access to one of these online. You don't get a free one because they cost 10 quid to produce, but they get access to one of these online, which is actually specifically aimed at line managers, and it has a whole different approach to it. So it will go through things like promoting well-being, recruitment and mental health. It'll talk about what are reasonable adjustments. It'll talk about keeping in touch during sickness, absence. And then the resource section in that is specifically focused around work.
Okay.
And that, again, as soon as you've done the course, you get access to that. You can download it. It's all yours.